It's March 6, 2016, and we want to know, will Space Ghost be green with envy at Hal Jordan's new status quo?
Can Midnighter's new Yankee Workshop tell me what to do with my old beat-up wooden chair?
It's all coming up now. It's DCU Week 40 here at DCR.
This day, we rescue a world from mysticism and tyranny, and usher in a future brighter than anything we can imagine.
Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's
Distress Citizens Radio.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the DCR. I am your host, Sean Lamont, comic book reader, just generally.
Yeah.
Not even extraordinary today, just kind of generally. There was only like 7 books. I don't feel like that's very extraordinary. It's like, okay, yeah, you know, I read some comics this week, so hey, cool. But I'm joined as always by my cohort in crime, the Punmeister General, Mr. Brian Glein. Hello, sir.
Hey there, Sean.
How are you today?
I'm doing fine.
Fresh off of the eye wash station alarm, can't see anything. Like I could be doing anything over here and you can't see me.
Oh, just call me a mole. Just call me a mole man, I suppose.
Well, it should be amusing then.
Things are so dangerous here at the Good Ship Lollipop.
It is a little dangerous. He had a kung fu fight. His opponent blew sand in his eyes. Mm-hmm. It was just, he should have seen it coming, to be frank. He really should have seen it coming. The guy was bent over, grasping at the sand. Mm-hmm. You know what he was going to do. We all saw it. Mm-hmm. But why don't you tell the lovely people what we're going to do here today?
We are going to be spoiling all of the books that came out in DC Comics' DCU line this past week.
Yeah. Not very many of them, though.
No.
There's like 7 of them, so the odds of us spoiling something you read...
If you accidentally tripped over a book at your comic shop or something, you might be caught up.
Yeah, you very well might have. You may have scanned the rack, and if they had it open to each page, you probably could have read them all.
Yeah.
Would have been pretty easy.
Actually, addendum, though, we will also be catching up on some of the things that...
Yes, Brian has a couple books that he wanted to...
that finished while we were on our hiatus.
That he wants to make sure that we at least catch up on. And we're going to sprinkle a few in here and sprinkle some in next week and I think the week after as well. Maybe the week after that. I can't remember.
Okay.
The schedule is there. I haven't given it to you. As I sent you the email today that was so aptly titled. Here's today's order of books. Postscript. I know it's too late to be of any use to you. Yes. So, yes. I should probably get you that schedule. I should probably work on that.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. I'm slacking, I guess, a little bit. But without any further ado, Brian, you get to call it. What are we doing today?
We are going to be stumbling.
Can we eye wash our way into this week's books?
I can eye wash our way.
Yeah! All right, leading the charge, we made it to the fireworks factory, Brian. Batman and Robin Eternal number 22 after they screwed me last week by having Damien show up at the end of issue 20 and then doing a flashback issue last week.
Yeah.
A very well-constructed flashback issue, but regardless.
Yes.
This week we have Batman and Robin Eternal number 22 where Mother has stolen control of Spiral's satellites and plans to brainwash everyone under the age of 18 into being part of her army of doom and conquering the world that way. Cassandra and Harper Row have both been captured by Mother and are being taken back, and the Robins are feeling a little bit despondent about their odds since even Batman couldn't stop the Mother. Man, it's so bad. But enter...
Is she one bad mother?
She is one bad mother. Okay. Shut your mouth!
Okay.
No,
sorry, Mom.
I'm just talking about Mother, I think. But enter Damien. Damien is not the mopey individual. Well, I mean, ignore the whole Robin, son of Batman book on occasion. Yeah. He was a little mopey there on occasion. But, you know, he committed a lot of war crimes and he felt a little bad about it. It's understandable. But he comes into Dick just kind of all beaten up, like one eye swollen shut, and he's just standing there like, man, even Batman couldn't stop Mother. Maybe this is just a loss for us. And Jason's being all like beating himself up that he got knocked out during that fight and allowed Harper and Cassandra to be taken captive. Why don't we all just say what everyone's thinking? it's Jason's fault. It's always Jason's fault. And Tim Drake is just like, oh, I can't find her on my computer, guys. She's hiding. No, we're not being mean to Tim anymore.
I know I was supposed to, hey, I had to rewrite some of my notes because I
literally have a rewrite in this recap, and I'll even point it out. But Damien comes in and literally slaps them all in the face. It says, hey, listen up, you guys. These aren't the Robins that my dad raised practically. You guys aren't the people that I look up to. You're not acting like my brothers whatsoever. And they're all like, well, face it, man. We lost this one. It's game over, man. Game over. But then Damien goes, you guys don't even realize it. You have no idea what Batman actually raised us to be. And we have this nice little flashback scene of Damien sparring with Bruce back in the old days in the Batcave, and they're sparring. Damien makes a little bit of a misstep trying to get ultra offensive on Batman, and Bruce is able to dodge out of the way, and Damien almost falls, and Bruce catches him. And as they're walking back, Damien's just like, crap. I'm the bottom of the Robins, aren't I? I'm worse than the Robot and the Renegade and your perfect little prodigal son. I'm the worst child soldier in this Batman army. And Batman's like, whoa. Hold your horses there. I ain't raising no child soldiers here. I had this whole big thing with Mother a couple years back.
Also, seriously, all those horses you adopted, hold on to them, please. I've only got so much room in this cave.
There's just like a whole menagerie in there. But it's him trying to tell Damien, look, I wanted to raise you guys to be who you are, not soldiers. I don't want carbon clones of me and doing things the way I would do them. Dick's like the most clear picture of what Batman was intended to be. Jason is quite literally willing to go the distance, even further than I'm willing to go when the world needs it. And Tim's really good with computers and really analytical, and I had to rewrite that because I was like, I remember we're not dogpiling on Tim, and in my original notes it just says, Batman keeps skipping over Tim whenever Damien brings it up. So, we're not doing that anymore.
No, we're not. Ignore the past 30 seconds, but yeah.
But the whole point of it is that he wants each of them to find their own paths, not be soldiers in his image, and because of that, they will become greater than him. Because they've learned from his mistakes, they've seen what he's done wrong, and they're their own people that have built off of that foundation and become better. And after this little pep talk that Damien gives them all and says, look, you guys are better than Batman. We're all better than my dad. That's the whole point. We've been built off of my dad and higher, so let's prove him right and do this the way we're supposed to do. If he left it for us to do, it's because he knows we can handle it. And they're all like, yeah, that little shithead's right. Let's do it. And everyone's like calling in favors. Jason's calling in all of his underground contacts, and Tim starts hacking away, and Dick's trying to bounce signals off of whatever satellites are left from Spiral and figure out where they are, as they have found their inspiration. At that moment, Mother is then receiving her prisoners of Cassandra and Harper Row, and the orphan comes in with them and is like, hey, haha, yeah, sorry about failing you all those times, but I brought you some presents. I brought the 2 girls back, so we square everything cool. And Mother goes, no, and murders him and opens up the giant globe in her command center so that she can kick his dead body into the giant pit below that then closes, and they continue their board meeting. I was like, okay, Dr. No, what else you got in here? Do you have some sharks with freaking laser beams down there? Cause it was very a
white cat to stroke.
You want to just face away? Do we never see your face moving forward from this point forward? But yes, she goes, it was my own weakness. I grew too reliant on him. I actually, liked having him around needing me. And, I think that was a weakness. So I had to excise it from my organization. Let's activate those satellites and turn all the kids into murderous rampage monsters. Ba-doop. And they turn it on. We'll pick up from next week. Again, I love the Damien stuff. I love the Robins hanging out together. This is what I was waiting for. All of them working off of each other, playing off of each other, and doing their things. We had the subsections with the Tim and Jason off having their adventures, and then Dick was kind of getting acquainted with all the new cast members, the Cassandras, the Harpers, and everyone like that, because he was quote unquote dead during their introductions. So he had to get all of his introductions in with those people. Now if we can start working Damien into the mix, make that awesome dough, just start baking those cookies of just pure awesomeness, and it'll be awesome from there. Because they're cookies of pure awesomeness.
Well, yes.
It can't help but be awesome from there.
Yes.
It's good though. The art is again a little jarring week to week, weekly book. What can I say? So, I guess we'll see how it plays out. It's serviceable for the story.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there.
All right.
Next up.
Well, speaking of bat compatriots that are good with computers, let's move on to Batgirl 49.
It's almost like I plotted that segue, but really the alphabet did.
Yes, it's just the alphabet. All right, so Batgirl Barbara Gordon is currently getting mind-freaked by her new arch-nemesis, the Fugue, who is her childhood best friend, Greg, except he isn't.
Nope, had to edit himself in.
He just programmed her brain to think that so he could be her arch-nemesis, which...
we can't fault you for it.
So, I guess he's just some bank robber that she foiled ages ago.
Not any mere bank robber. The Yankee Doodle bank robber.
I missed that because I didn't review it last week.
No, it was
last
in this
year?
one because he was whistling Yankee Doodle, and that's how she recognized him.
Oh, okay.
After the fact. She called him the Yankee Doodle robber. And I was like, ooh, someone had the bottom of the barrel with their villain name.
Man, Mr. Coin, the guy with the giant penny, man, he still had more dignity than the Yankee Doodle
Face was doing a lot better off.
Yeah, really. Basically, she's been mind whammied. She's kind of laying in a coma. So Frankie, who may or may not be Oracle, we still don't know, is trying to get inside of her head with her Wi-Fi powers, and decides that the best thing to do to try to get inside of Babs' subconscious is to upload the evil brain scan backup of Barbara back into her brain so she can track down all of the Greg anomalies that were programmed in there.
Yep. She had already edited the program so that its evil was deleted. I guess she did like a find, replace evil.
Mm-hmm.
Find, replace evil with pleasant. I don't know.
Slam out all evil, execute phantom program. All right. Execute BillyZane.exe. My apologies. So they go through her head and find false Greg memories. And Fugue keeps trying to shut them down. And it gets to the point that he starts implanting false memories of Batman just being a dick to her when she first starts, or her accidentally killing her dad when he discovers that she's Batgirl.
Yeah, we finally get that little story point, even if it is a dream state that I've been asking for. And it's like, oh, well, Commissioner Gordon died. Well,
yes.
That wasn't what I wanted.
Yep. So,
monkey paw.
Yes. So, naturally, the AI Barbara turns on Frankie and tries to take over her body. But Black Canary suggests combining her memory with the AI, but with the bad parts stripped out of it, and it works.
Yep.
Okay, comic books,
yeah,
everybody.
Why not? Also gives them a wonderful escape button for anything that they have done in this run.
Yeah, well, yes.
With the Fugue, because of all the false memories that have been planted and maybe... have been driving personality changes or anything like that, they can literally just go, false memories, ba-doop, and reset it back to where it was.
Sad.
You gotta build that in. If you don't own the property, you have to give people a chance to put the toys back in the toy box.
Very true.
You don't want to paint people into a corner, and then the next guy comes and goes, I literally can do nothing except for what you already had planned.
Point. So, Barbara wakes back up, remembers everything, that Greg is really Vinton Burwell, and that he's stolen all of her memories. So Bruce Wayne, her dad, Dick, Spiral, everything. He's going to auction them off to the highest bidder. And her energy project that was being made from the Negahedron, he's going to use it to blow up Burnside and a hull of Gotham maybe, because why not?
Whoopsie-doo!
Why not? So Barbara gathers a Black Canary, Frankie, Spoiler, Bluebird, and thinks, maybe we can form a team. A team of bird or bird-like heroes. Bats are birds, right? Anyway,
the hawk people,
they've got wings,
right?
Yeah.
The eagles of wrestling. The
birds of prey.
No, that's a good one.
Yes. That was an Always Sunny episode, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, so we're gonna find the Fugue and we're gonna stop him and maybe spin off into something else. I don't know.
It does seem like a backdoor pilot.
It does, yes.
It does seem like a backdoor, especially since...
Like that weird episode of Married with Children where they just followed out around 5 characters we'd never seen before. But Al Bundy showed up at the end and sold him some shoes or something.
Yep. Now it's a spinoff. No, especially with the Rebirth titles being announced and one of them being Batgirl and the Birds of Prey. Kind of seeming like this is the backdoor. Yeah, like this is kind of a setup for it, or at least a lead into it. So what do you think of that lineup if that is the case?
Well, we all know my opinion on Bluebird, but aside from that, it's a pretty fun
She's
team.
a bird.
She is a bird.
She is a bird. That's like a step above most people that have been on the Birds of Prey.
Black Canary and Bluebird both there. Okay, yeah, sure. We'll let it slide this time.
What do you think of Frankie sticking around long term as their back end fixer operator type person?
Yeah, I mean, the Wi-Fi powers are going to look a little dated in a few years, I'm sure. But
I'm sure. They can update it to like Bluetooth 4 or something.
Well, the Bluetooth was like Extremis Iron Man, you know, or any comic written by Warren Ellis in the early 2000s, you know. Wi-Fi is new, so.
Well, they'll figure it out. I'm sure they'll have something.
They'll upgrade it just as a.
She'll actually be hard cabled in. And
just as Prometheus now accesses his fighting styles from the cloud instead of a mini disc.
Boo! Boo! Change for the worse. That's why he would have been special, though, because he was the only one with a mini disc player still.
I suppose,
and the only one that could actually use all of these mini discs of knowledge. That's what has separated him from his peers. Mm-hmm. He just happened to still have a mini disc player.
As a proud Zune owner, he spoke to you.
Still don't have my Zune. Someone stole it.
Stole your Zune. I don't know why it's my favorite thing to bring up. I don't know why. I'm going on, aren't I?
Yes, you are.
Yes, I'm going on to Batman Beyond number 10.
Beyond what?
Beyond the Future's End.
Okay.
Story.
Yeah. This is pretty much Future's End chapter 4.
Yeah.
As far as picking up for book 4, I guess.
Yeah.
Since we had 3 trades of Future's End.
This could be the continuation.
Yeah, this is kind of book 4 of it all.
Yes, so, former Red Robin Tim Drake, who as we all know is currently living under the guise of Batman Beyond, has traveled to future Metropolis.
I cannot believe you write that down every time.
To find his predecessor, Terry McGinnis' little brother, Matt. Metropolis was destroyed by Brother Eye and is basically like a shanty town now. However, making his name there is Dr. Cuvier, a Batman Beyond villain who is known...
Dr. Cuvier?
If only.
Yeah.
The ladies' man of Batman Beyond villains. Hey, baby, want me to turn into a griffin? I know how you like it. So, he's known for splicing animal and human DNA together as a future lifestyle choice. So, Batman Beyond is fighting a bunch of animal men, which was a fake out that we were supposed to think that these were commandy animal people. But when we zoom out on Cuvier watching the fight, he's watching it with Prince Tufton of the commandy animal people.
Wait. So it was a psych out of the psych out?
It was a psych out of a psych out.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so basically...
So we saw the animal people and went, whoa, commandy animal people. And then they pulled back and said, no, it's Dr. Cuvier instead. And then we went, oh, you got us. And then they pulled out again and said, haha, double psych. It's actually
He's the one that
people.
made the animal people. It's like, oh, hey. So the Batman Beyond book is trying to bridge the weird possible future gap from Beyond to the Great Disaster, which
fair enough.
Kind of cool.
Yeah,
in the grand scheme of things, like those weird pulling those disparate elements from the toy box and making them work together.
That's always fun.
Yeah,
that's always like my most entertaining thing whenever I'm doing RPGs or something like that is pulling at strings and tying them together. Yeah. Love it.
All right, so back in Gotham, Mayor Luke Fox and Commissioner Barbara Gordon are debating about keeping refugees out of Gotham. Making a pros and cons list on a computer, just like they do in romantic comedies or episodes of Friends.
Okay.
Because, they're not animals or animal people. If they're going to make a pros and cons list, they're going to use a gosh darn computer.
Well, why not a whiteboard? What's wrong with a whiteboard?
What are you talking about? What kind of pros and cons list is that, Sean? Pencil or paper?
Yeah, what about a pad of paper?
Yeah,
you draw the line in the middle.
You are a disgusting human being. You disgust me, Sean. If you're going to make a pros and cons list, you have to use it with a computer.
I didn't know this.
I don't know why I've got this mad on for like all these like late 90s, early 2000 like rom-coms or whatever. It's like, I've got this computer, this thing that can literally do anything. What should I do with it? Well, you can use it to make a pros and cons list. I saw like 15 things over the course of a month at one point use that trope. I'm like, who is doing this? Is that all you know how to use computers for in Hollywood? Making pros and cons lists? What is this?
Maybe all they have is during their writing sessions is a pros and con list on whether they should include a pros and con list in their script.
Maybe.
We have used it before. Con.
And so as they hem and haw about this while they're writing their pros and cons list, the refugees get restless and blow open the wall and just start pouring into Gotham.
I would like to say that wall was huge. It was huge.
Huge wall. Huge.
That seems to be a odd little timing as far as all of the things going on in the world.
Mayhaps.
The civilization, quote unquote, was on one side of the wall, and the other people just wanted medicine, and there was a huge wall in their way. But yeah, Hawkman would have something to say about that. Yes, after that, I'm sure he would have something more to add to the conversation.
So,
Hawkman is the worst at debates.
I mean, future potential vice presidential nominee Hawkman. If you thought one person's side of the story was bad, wait until the vice president shows up and just starts shrieking at you.
All right, move on. I'm
Back
sorry.
in Metropolis, the Justice League Beyond that Cuvier was keeping on ice.
Cavassier.
Yeah, sorry, I guess I'm just going to do that now. He was keeping them on ice like his Cavassier, wakes up and immediately sees Batman Beyond as a threat and a menace and attacks him. Superheroes fighting before coming to an understanding. Who would have
Never
thought?
happened before.
Yeah. So it turns out that when they look at Batman, he looks like a brother iRobot, thanks to implanted memories and stuff.
Yeah, is it like mind control, or is it?
It turns out, at least according to Cuvier, who, as we all know, Cavassier, who, as we all know, is a very unreliable narrator, that all of the spider robots that were just like artificial constructs that Brother I made to demoralize the populace.
So the actual heroes are still out there somewhere,
or dead, and that would explain why, like, the Batman Beyond people were at the level they were at there in the future.
Well, we know Batman and Joker didn't have a good end.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With their many faces attempts at murdering them in the past. Yeah.
So the
don't think he's coming back from that one.
Nope. So the Justice League Beyond were just being kept for future use, and now Cavassier had them for future DNA use with his gene splicing. I could make a super-powered animal person now.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, so they beat the crap out of Batman. Matt tries to call out to Tim to help him save himself, but it's too late. Big Barda just explodes Batman into a pile of Kirby dots. The end?
The end.
Tim Drake, everybody.
Question mark? Isn't this Tim better, though? Like, well, I mean, in comparison to what we're getting in modern day?
A little bit. He doesn't do much, though. It seems like all the other characters around him are doing more, and he just happens to be there.
There is a lot of world building happening around him.
It's a little like Neo or, early Harry Potter, where it's like, I'm just standing here while all this awesome stuff is happening around me.
Okay, fair enough.
Point of view character. Link never actually talks,
He doesn't?
No.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't played one of those games in years, so.
Yeah.
I wasn't really the biggest fan since the old 8-bit, 16-bit ones.
Yeah, I will usually.
I know that's
Link
like
to the
heresy.
Past. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not care for
Ocarina of Time.
No,
I know that's
that
where I
was a
dropped
step too
out.
far.
Yeah, that's where I dropped out too.
I tried Twilight Princess and it seemed super cool, and then like as soon as something awesome started happening, and I was really enjoying the gameplay. Guess what? You're going to be a wolf for another 45 minutes.
But you become a werewolf now?
He turns into a wolf with a completely different control scheme that is nothing to
behind
have
the
anything to do with
storyline in
Zelda.
this stuff.
Yeah. Like, oh, cool! I finally did like a cool 3D dungeon, and it felt like I used to when I was playing my 16-bit games. Like, you're gonna be a wolf for another 45 minutes.
You just turn it off.
Yep.
Did you just?
I got to zigzag my Wiimote in a certain way, or else the wolf doesn't attack the shadow monster.
Yeah, that's the other reason I haven't played it. I just can't do Wii. I'm sorry. I'm just like, whatever. Next.
Yep.
So better Tim Drake.
Better, yes.
But it's
better Tim
the book
Drake.
he's in
Bernard
isn't
Chang
allowing
is
him.
drawing awesome animal people.
Yes.
And fantastic future superheroes.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. The art has never been our complaint.
Probably the
with
best
this.
Big Barda I've seen in a long time. So
I'm telling you, man, we need him. You had said it before. Just all the New God stuff. Go, hey, Mr. Chang,
want to
would
do
you
a
like
Barda
to
and
do
Miracle
this?
series? Hey, cool, Bernard Chang, come on over here.
Come on over here. I was reading on Twitter this week. God, who was it? Someone put together a mini comic of the continuing adventures of Druck, and and I think it was Van Jensen that was just like, "Yeah, screw Cullen Bunn. Druck lives on in the hearts of people."
Splendid.
I got a chuckle out of that. So
I'm
it made me think
find
of
that
because I wanted good old fashioned Chang drawing some more Druck stomping around and being awesome some more. Can't happen.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of lanterns, though, see like that segue right there? Yeah. I'm on top of my game too. Green Lantern number 50. Everyone's coming home to Coast City. The city without fear, because it is a lovely beach town. I'm assuming on a coast somewhere. I'm assuming it is a beach town. If it isn't, then man, they really got me because I made assumptions that I should not have. But Hal has gotten home and arrived just in time because his nephew, remember, that got crushed by a Ferris wheel during the terrorist attacks from Modoran, is getting out of the hospital, and he's there to be like, yay, let's welcome home, and I got you a present, and we're gonna party and have fun and have a good time. And he ends up buying the kid a quadcopter drone and says, go out and play in the park, yeah, woo. And he has a conversation with his brother where he's just like, hey, I'm so sorry. I'm Green Lantern. I should have been able to stop this. I should have been able to keep my family safe. And his brother's like, dude, you can't stop everything bad from happening. And he gives this great speech about how, as a father, you just gotta cross your fingers a lot. You just gotta go, okay, I've given you a coat because it's cold, and I've given you lunch so you have food to eat for the day. Go out to the bus stop, and hopefully the world doesn't murder you, because you have no control after that point. And the fact that you're staying there as Green Lantern thinking that just because you have a bit more power that you can stop everything bad from happening in the world is not feasible. Just stop that. Just stop it right now. Unfortunately, while they're having this conversation, someone else has come home to Coast City. The city without fear. Because Parallax has come on back and he's like, oh my God, my city's still here. This is amazing. This is awesome. I never thought to look for it in the last 30 years since I banished myself out into space. Huh. This is cool. I wonder who else is around. And he starts strutting through the streets of, Coast City there. He's like, doop.
Walking like the keep on trucking guy.
Yeah. And then he comes into the park and he sees someone's gotten their drone stuck in the tree. And he's like, well, I'll help. I get things out of trees. I'm Hal Jordan. I'm the best. And he pulls the drone down and then he sees that it's his nephew and his sister-in-law. And he's like, oh my God, you guys are alive too? I didn't even think about that. I just thought maybe they rebuilt the city. This is amazing. Come here. Give your uncle a hug. And they're just looking at him and his nephew's like, Uncle Hal, you look weird. Why is your hair all gray? Why are your teeth all pointy? He's like, everything's fine. It's me, your Uncle Hal. He's like, I don't know, Uncle Hal. Something about this just isn't feeling right. Until the present day Hal Jordan shows up in his duster coat and everything and just kind of smacks Parallax out of the way. And he's like, shapeshifter, Durlin, who is this? And he starts fighting him and arguing with him. And then they figure out it is actually alternate universe Hal Jordan. And as soon as Hal Jordan figures that out, he goes, family, go away. Please just leave. This is probably bad. This is probably really, really, really bad. This guy does not look happy whatsoever. And of course, our current day Hal Jordan has the Gauntlet of Krona, and this Parallax has the power of every single ring from his time period that he came from because he murdered everyone in the Green Lantern Corps and absorbed their power. Plus he has the Parallax bug living inside him and roar, and they start smashing around each other, to protect the city. Yeah. Turning into giant constructs and crushing buildings. And it's the Power Rangers paradigm.
Yeah.
Where I've never understood how they're protecting the city when they're literally picking up skyscrapers and smacking monsters over the head with it. And I'm like, guys, You just murdered 100,000 people in your fight.
You're protecting the city.
Protecting, yay! But in any case, Hal Jordan ends up going, well, I've never actually taxed this gauntlet to its full potential. Let's find out how strong I am. You're over there bragging the whole time about you have the power of every lantern that has ever lived, and blah, blah, blah. Let's hit the little dial up to 10 on this gauntlet. And he does so, and he turns into a giant manifestation of willpower itself, like a giant green see-through roar stomp, and just kind of backhands Parallax out of the city, and Parallax flies away going, ooh, I'll get you next time, Gadget, next time! And as Hal looks around, he goes, I'm a giant green ghost monster. Oh, boy. Turn back into Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan return. Hoobily-boo! And nothing's happening. He's a green ghost monster that I'm assuming will fly off into space to have adventures, becoming DC's new space ghost. The end.
All right.
But he does fly back to his brother and goes,
start up a talk show.
Yeah,
late
start
night
up a talk show.
hang out with the
Hire
space
up Brack.
magic.
Yeah. You could probably get, who's a good person for Brack? Tigor.
Ah.
Yeah, he could be a good Brack. He's murdering people.
Yeah.
Brack's known for that. It's amusing. I like the Back on Earth stuff a lot. Don't get me wrong, I love my space opera. Love me some space opera, but as far as the homegrown stuff that we've been getting for the last couple issues, kind of enjoy that as well. And a lot of people don't like Fear Bug Parallax. Does that mean anything to you? Fear Bug? That specific term? I know there was the retcon of Parallax being involved.
I think the retcon of Parallax being the yellow entity, because that was just a name.
Okay.
Like, that was like back in the day. It was
he just
like,
thought he was awesome, badass.
He
and pointy
became
teeth
evil, and someone said, like, oh, hey, I've been sitting on this cool supervillain name. Why don't we call him Parallax so we can tell he's different from Green Lantern. From Kyle Rayner, who's the new Green Lantern.
All right, fair enough.
So then they made that the yellow entity in the rebirth thing that had never been seen before. So.
Okay, yeah, a lot of people were hoping it was pre-retcon, so that it was just filled with grief, broken Hal Jordan at the loss of his city that has to come back, and not, oh no, giant space cosmic bug making me all crazy. Woodly-hoo. Which I can see that. There's a lot more potential for storytelling, I think, in the first scenario than the second.
Yeah.
Because even in this one, Hal Jordan tries to reason with Parallax, and it's like, hey man, this city was destroyed just like yours was. We rebuilt it. It's back again. You don't have to worry about me going all crazy and destroying it like you did in your timeline. We're totally past that part now. We're in a different time. Everything's cool. I had that whole fear bug thing myself for a hot minute. Kick that habit. You can do it too. Come on, buddy. Pointy teeth aren't cool anymore. Come on back to my place. And Parallax is just like, no, fear bug, rah! and destroying everything. So I think if it was broken Hal Jordan, there would have been a more potential for them to sit down and maybe have a coffee and be like, man, I really screwed up. Yeah, you really screwed up. You murdered a lot of people, Parallax. So, especially since we already had that come to Jesus moment in Convergence with Green Lantern Parallax stuff, where he kind of made peace with the bad decisions he made and tried to go back into Crisis on Infinite Earths to help make reparations for the bad things he had done and maybe stop himself from ever becoming Parallax, blah, 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 blah. So, I mean, he had kind of already fixed himself, but then he isolated himself for 30 years out in deep space, so who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But let's move on. Tigor.
All right.
Tigor. Omega Man. Omega Man.
Omega Man.
It's good. It's really, really good. Work with me here. I say it every month. Just work with me. The Omega Men have left Doc the robot behind on Vorl because he has a job to do still. He is programmed to make graves for all of the people, every citizen that ever lived on the planet. And he has to go back to digging because Kyle has a plan. Look, I was naive. I flew in here and heard about you guys having your war with the Citadel government, and I thought, Kyle Rayner's a pretty cool guy. He can just fly in and be like, hey guys, let's talk it out. Feelings. I know about them. Yeah. And that was naive of me. I get that now. I understand atrocities have been committed. But now I see clearly. Let's take all the evidence you have to the Galactic Senate. They have another name for it. I'm just going to say it that.
Yeah.
It's easier. and we'll present all the facts, and we'll just deal with it that way. There's another way. We don't have to keep committing these atrocities of terrorism / freedom fighting / depends on how you're looking at it. Sound good? And they're like, yeah, sure, okay, but Doc has to stay behind. He's programmed to do stuff, so sorry. And he goes, that's fine. Come on, guys, let's go. And they flying up to the Space Congress, whatever, and as they show up, it turns out both the Omega Men and Kyle Rayner have shown up, as well as the Viceroy of the Citadel and their army and everything. They've both shown up to have their say in front of the Galactic Senate, because word got out that the Omega Men were coming up with proof, and the Viceroy wanted to show up to defend the Citadel. And they go, okay, this is weird. This is a little awkward, but undeterred, Kyle takes the podium, and it's being broadcast to the entire galaxy, and he goes, everyone, both sides have committed atrocities. You guys all know what happened to Krypton. It exploded because its core wasn't stable. And then you found that there was some sort of mineral that you could inject into your own planet's cores to protect them from being falling unstable and exploding. And you guys decided the Citadel decided to murder everyone on this planet so that they could mine that mineral out of the core, because it would be an uninhabitable planet afterwards. That's bad. That's really, really bad. The Omega Men have been trying to get that information out and make them pay for it, because we have people like Scraps here, who is the last surviving member of that planet entirely. We have everyone has a tie back to this atrocity, essentially, whether it's through their own negligence or through their own actions that were forced upon them. They all feel guilty, and they want the Citadel to pay. The Citadel has done horrible things. The Omega Men have done horrible things. You would think this war could have to continue, but it doesn't. There's another way. There's a third option, and that's when things get a little bit out of hand, because the Omega Men come up and go, yes, there is another option, because we left Doc behind, who has drilled into the center of the planet of Vorl and is now standing there with an incendiary device to destroy the only source of that mineral that you all need to keep your planets from exploding. And everyone's like, gasp, gasp. And the Citadel guy is like, we have no time for your threats. And she goes, yeah, I wasn't threatening. Badoop. And Doc self-detonates, destroying the entire planet of Vorl. And the Senate goes apeshit. Like, oh my god, we're gonna die. Every planet's gonna explode now. This is horrible. Oh, Jeebus. And the Citadel people go, oh my god, this is an atrocity. These people are terrorists. Get them. And a firefight breaks out with this two sides going at each other. Kyle Rayner gets shot to crap and back because he's in the middle like, no guys, don't fight. We can still talk it out. And he gets all shot up, and everyone that's in the middle of these two warring factions, these two groups that keep committing these atrocities, is just being murdered in between their war. Like, people in the Senate are just getting gunned down, cut down, just shot up as they're trying to get out of the way of these two forces fighting one another, until finally the Viceroy gets the drop on Scraps and runs her through with a sword, and it stops the entire fight as everyone's like, no, Scraps, that was like one of the best characters. And as the Viceroy is standing there, he's like, look, I am civilization. I am the one that's willing to make the hard choices to save us all. I will save everyone. I will put the blood on my hands to save the entire universe itself. And as he's saying that, Kyle Rayner gets his White Lantern ring back off of the Viceroy and puts it on, and we have the ending panel splash page of him saying, no, you won't, but I will. And he's all donned up in his White Lantern get-up, Viewmaster, ready to kick some butt.
Mm-hmm. Like some dinosaurs in many dimensions.
Really, really, really good. And it's not the story itself, the are they freedom fighters or terrorists story. It's tropey. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's been done in a lot of places. It's in space. Don't get me wrong. That's automatically kicking it a notch up, as Emerald would say. Bam. Mm-hmm. But the story isn't the most amazing thing. It's got some twists and turns. The way the story is being told and the pacing, not just in the overarching bullet points and how the story is being told, but the paneling that's being done has this weird countdown, count up. Like, it starts with a 9-panel page, and then the next page is 8-panel, the next page is 7, the next page is 6, next page is 5, 4, 3, 2, and then the big splash page is the planet being destroyed. And then it comes back up to the next page is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Man.
8, ends with the 9 of it all forming together into one giant picture of White Lantern Kyle.
Pax Americana Watchmen stuff
Yeah,
there.
it's really good. It's when it gets to like the second page of 7 panels, it's all 7. It's right after Scraps gets stabbed and it's everyone reacting, and everyone's reacting in one of the 7 emotions. So like one person's like really pissed off, Tigor's like rage and angry, and then another one's just like, oh my god, I can't believe I had let this happen, and there's fear and remorse.
Someone's showing the emotion of willpower.
Yeah. Well, Kyle Rayner, because he's shot up and he's crawling over towards and he still hopes too. He hopes that there's a third way because he knows where the real power of the lanterns come from. Why you gotta make that face every time I bring up my blues? You're my boy, Blue. You're my boy.
Yeah.
But it's really masterfully done. Have you read the Vision stuff?
Oh, you mean the
Tom
Marvel,
King?
Marvel
Yeah.
Vision? I have not, no.
It's the same guy that's doing Vision over there, and nothing but rave reviews. I've been meaning to get over to it, but I just haven't had time.
Yeah, same
honestly.
here, yeah.
And I guess they just had a Dan DiDio was doing some sort of conversation thing, which I actually want to bring that up here in a little bit, but not right this moment.
Gotcha.
That he was saying that it was when DC read the Vision that Tom King was doing, they knew they had to sign him.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, if it's better than Omega Man, that's gotta be pretty good. I should probably check that out. So.
Made the Vision good.
Yeah, I know. I can't.
Martian Manhunter and the Vision both have amazing comic books out in the same year.
The end is not.
If a Red Tornado series starts and it's awesome, I won't know what to do with myself, Sean.
What if we get a Blue Beetle series that starts off with an awesome intro and then gets retconned? Because that would just be business as usual, and you'd be happy, right?
Yeah.
The world is saved. That's how we save the world. We start an awesome Blue Beetle book and then can it and retcon it out.
Yeah.
Phew! Disaster averted. So, next up.
All right, speaking of amazing books, Midnighter number 10.
Just astounding.
Yeah.
Astounding. It's unfair that we put these two books together because it's going to sound like we're brown-nosing.
Yeah.
We're not. They're both of these titles, Omega Man and Midnighter, are just amazing.
They're our favorite things going right now. So.
Honestly, it's going to be a tough call with Rebirth coming up, whether it's Midnighter or Grayson that I'm going to miss the most. And I know they've kind of dovetailed together quite a bit, so there's kind of a little bit of
a potential for certain things.
Yeah, I know. I understand this, but come on, dude. Both of those books have been really, really good, and for kind of similar, kind of different reasons as well. And I don't know which one I'm going to miss the most come Rebirth.
Yeah. A guy named Afterthought on the Suicide Squad took down Midnighter, and they're holding him for interrogation. He stole something from them, the Perdition Pistol, and he broke it.
Whoops.
He wants to stop their scientist Henry Bendix from creating a Kryptonian human super soldier. He breaks out of the interrogation at the Task Force X-Men. That's really hard to say. Headquarters in just an impossibly cool way. He's like tied up and chained to this chair, and so as everyone blinks, he uses like tiny bursts of super speed to like jolt the bolts out of the ground, and then
only while they blink for that nanosecond.
When like three different people, the periods when like all three of you are blinking at the same time, that's when I'm doing this thing that I'm explaining to you right now.
I love how Amanda Waller calls bullshit on him. Like, oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. I have to admit that you thought that up. That's pretty cool, but there's no way.
And then as soon as he loosens the bolts, he flips over in the chair, shatters it in midair, and sprays out chunks of wooden chair at all of them.
Not even the coolest movie does this book.
No.
Not even.
So he takes out some low tier talent, these suicide members of the Suicide Squad, and escapes. They're like Fenris or something. There's like twins who have to hold hands to like have their power. Or
less
whatever.
squad, more suicide.
Yeah. And he escapes to go get Bendix. So Bendix, who dresses like Dr. Evil with some mechanical stuff on his head, he's being protected by Harley, Parasite, and Deadshot. Deadshot got dressed down by Waller, so he's got something to prove, which is one of my favorite parts of this issue, is he's like just being a complete jerk to Midnighter, because she's even like saying, hey, why don't you just join us at Task Force X? We're better than Spiral, aren't we? He's like, well, yeah, I kind of hate Spiral, but you guys aren't exactly, that
super
great
awesome either.
Yeah.
And I did give my word, and Midnighter keeps his word, so sorry. Can you blink more?
But
he just keeps saying really confusing things, so they blink at him more.
But I love the fact that so Deadshot goes off and like starts complaining to Waller about all this, and he's just like, "Come on, I'm on the A team. I shouldn't have to do this." And she just verbally berates him. And it's just like,
Afterthought has done more good for this company than your entire team.
Afterthought by himself has done more than your team. You're the B team. I love the idea that the Suicide Squad we're always following around is not the best Task Force X. Something about that is just kind of beautiful to me. I don't know why.
Second tier Task Force X.
Yeah, so because he's super mad about that, he wastes so many bullets trying to hit Midnighter, and he's just getting so angry. He's like, I never miss. What's going on?
Like 500 times.
He's just like, hello, darkness, my old friend, to like just spray some bullets everywhere. He's like, no, what's happening? And then he finally hits him. He's like, oh, thank goodness. I thought I was going to have to change my name to like Still Kind of Alive Shot or something. And,
Winged Shot.
Yeah. And so he goes in to like make sure that he killed Midnighter, and of course, oopsie, all part of my plan. And he uses it to jump forward and shatter all of the bones in Deadshot's hands.
Well, call me Mr. Butterfingers.
I suppose I could also call you Butterfingers now. LOL.
Midnighter, I love you. You're skipping over the best part of that whole combat scene, though, when he shows up and kicks the teeth out of Parasite and flings the broken Parasite teeth at Harley Quinn's head to knock her out.
Yes.
And then when Harley Quinn comes to, he goes, he took me out with teeth, not even his teeth.
That was pretty good. I'm gonna have to write that in my journal as a new thing happened to me. Because Parasite is there, instead of healing from the gunshot, Parasite's healing instead. I do like the fact that Parasite is like, man, these powers are great. I'm like really light on my feet, but also really angry. But the light on the feet makes up for it, kind of, you know? So they take out Midnighter, they tie him up, they throw him in a plane, fly it to a really high altitude, and explode it. Let's see how he gets out of this. Let's see how he gets out of this one.
And I love the panel right before that is him waking up, looking around like, really? Is this all you guys have?
Yep.
Everything about the book just oozes style. And it's so fun.
I really hope it continues in some way, even if it's just like he becomes the norm of Nightwing, where he just shows up with, like, from a door.
Hey, Midnighter.
Hey, Midnighter here, just stepping out of a door, fighting something ridiculous. How's it going? Okay, I'm done now. Bye.
Just background of every other page or so. It's just him, like, fighting a werewolf. Waving at the camera with a werewolf in a headlock.
Yep.
I'd buy it.
Hey, buddy, you want to join in?
No, okay, catch you next time. I just love the fact that he got a book. It wasn't a book I was expecting to like. It's the same thing as Martian Manhunter. I mean, I love the Stormwatch stuff, but it wasn't because of Midnighter.
Well, Grayson Midnighter was amazing.
Yes. Yeah, and that was where it picked up, and okay, well, that's kind of fun.
It was like the perfect, like, you always see, like, we're introducing a new character and we're not going to do anything to support it. And so we're like, how come you don't like Starbrand and Nightmask? I don't know. and whereas, like, oh, this guy proved himself.
But his name is Geoforce. How can you not like Geoforce?
So it's Gravity, man. What? Hot new character Gravity hasn't shown up anywhere before. So
Simon Baz. Come on, everybody.
Yeah, hey. So seeing it's like, oh, he proved himself in this very popular book. This is a good thing to, like, spin off from.
Well, that was also the perfect casting as well. If you remember when that happened, it was supposed to be the perfect foil for Dick Grayson, kind of the quasi spin-off father figure that he was breaking away from, an amalgamation spin-off of the character that was his adopted father that he was trying to, like, it was literally a perfect casting role for him. And then it gave him the chance to actually develop a personality and be fun, which led to this. And now, you know, hopefully that continues somewhere.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying. Even if it doesn't, I'm happy I got this. I'll have a lot more respect for the character when he shows up. I actually am going to be a lot more vested in the character wherever he shows up. And they've bought a bit of brand loyalty, I guess is the best term for it. When it comes to it, like, if people are like, hey, guess who's coming back? This is you, Midnighter. I'm going to be like, whoa,
yeah,
awesome.
I'm going to read that.
So, I mean, they got something out of it, even if it didn't sell the numbers they wanted to. They should still be going to Orlando. And who's doing art on this?
It was Aiko and someone else.
Yeah.
But good
I think
job.
it switched out. Yeah,
It switched out between the two, but even the person who wasn't Aiko was sort of like picking up his little ticks and stuff that he does. That sounds like a bad thing to say. His like the stylistic choices that he does. When Midnighter starts midnightering out. You know?
Yeah. So, I mean, even if it didn't get the sales numbers they wanted to, that creative team has garnered good faith for a character, which is
I will be looking forward to anything else they do.
As a reader, that's worth a lot to me, and I don't know how much value that is to the company, but to me, thanks, guys.
Yep. If we're ever planning a Justice League team, we've now got a very specific Midnighter file when we're putting all the files down on the table.
It's on the table now. It has made it to the table for that issue. Next up, Swamp Thing number 3 of 6. Do you like some old school? Do you like old school?
Usually not.
Usually not?
Usually
okay.
not, to be perfectly honest.
Then I'm just gonna slide Swamp Thing back over to my side of the table here. Cause this is old school. I mean, this is, as I said last time when we covered number 2 and 1, it's your old 70s style, Crypt Keeper,
Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the
EC
Crypt.
Comics.
EC Comics. There you go. That's the perfect setup for it. That's the style of book that we're getting right here. A lot of alliteration, a lot of long prose to describe things that are occurring. And in this case, Swamp Thing is being visited by his old pal, Matt Cable. You know Matt Cable. Best guy ever. I guess he was actually one of the...
Is that Cable when he goes on Undercover Boss?
Yes. Hi, everybody.
Hey,
Matt Cable.
I don't have a flashy eye. I'm just here working
Why
sanitation.
does his eye always flash? Is it ever just like normally dead, like not flashy? Because it always looks like he's about to shoot someone with a laser beam from his eye, or it's
I don't know,
taking
man.
a Polaroid or something. I don't know what he's doing, but every
Don't
cover
ask me
I see him on.
Don't ask me to explain serrated knives, gigantic guns that look like blocks of wood, or pouches, or any of that.
I think I have him on one of these over here. I have these Mystech Wars. Do you know anything about these?
Is that Death's Head?
Yeah, Death's Head 2 and the Hulk, and I don't know, these are old as hell, and Wildstar. See,
Sean's picking up a pile of just random old comic books he must have found somewhere.
I did.
Like
I'm trying to make some catch up.
Where are those
here.
from? Are they like from a garage sale or something?
No, they were actually in a box somewhere that my younger brother had. So,
Green Mansions. What the heck? Oh, Classics Illustrated.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Classics Illustrated.
Okay,
that's different.
That's a little bit different. I'm just like, that's the weirdest title for a book I've ever seen.
In with my Death's Head 2 and Wildstar books. Okay. But yeah, I thought Cable was on one of those, but he's not. But yeah, he just always has that weird winky eye.
Battletide?
Yeah, Battletide. You don't remember Battletide?
Is that a character or an event?
I don't know what it is.
That is the weirdest sounding title I've ever heard.
Death's Head 2 and Kill Power join up in Battletide with Dark Angel, Psylocke, Motormouth, Tuck, and Wolverine. Tag team wrestling, intergalactic style. Here you go.
Sorry, Swamp Thing, but we're very interested in this weird box of comics.
Well, I just derailed that.
This is the strangest thing. Like, I'm vaguely aware of Death's Head, but thanks to Intranet, but
Death's Head 2. That's Death's Head 2.
Yes.
Come on now. You gotta get it right. You can't just be throwing out random names of characters. This is a Deathstroke or Deadshot or...
Not Death's Head 1 or Death's Head 3.
It's 2.
It's 2, yeah.
So can I continue with
Go ahead,
Swamp
Thing? He's doing stuff. He's being
apparently you're
going
to be really vested in this. I can tell as you're enraptured by this Battletide. Like, I think that a lot of them are Brit style, like the Mystech Wars.
I think this is like Marvel UK.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Behind the giant grimacing crosshatched heads in the little corner box, there it's Marvel UK. Okay.
Yeah, and they say "oi" and "govna" and "wat blargle blargle," as you always say. So Swamp Thing.
One of these guys is wearing an old-timey stripy bathing suit. What's going on?
Why wouldn't you if you were tag team wrestling in space?
I guess.
Swamp Thing. Stop it. Put it away. Put it away.
My bad.
Swamp Thing. Matt Cable, who was one of the bodyguards that was there when Alec Holland got turned into Swamp Thing, is his best friend, shows up and goes, "Hey, Swamp Thing. Oh, sorry, I just murdered your best friend because Swamp Thing's wrestling a snake." For some reason, and then Matt Cable goes, "Oh no, a snake's trying to murder him," and shoots it, and then Swamp Thing's like, "What the hell, man? That was my best friend."
What?
It's a game we play. He tries to kill me and I toss him to the side and then he leaves and he comes back and tries again. And Matt's like, okay, you've fallen a little far, Alec, but I got some good news. I traveled the world. I went far and wide to find a way to cure you of your condition. And Alec's like, really? What'd you do? He's like, let me tell you. Little story here. I went and sought counsel from Mr. E. And he told me about the herbs and spices I would need for this. I say. I reckon you need, how many herbs and spices are on that swamp thing?
He looked an awful lot like Norm Macdonald at first, then suddenly he looked like Jim Gaffigan, but I don't know.
I don't know. And then I went and sought counsel with Felix Faust in Egypt, and Felix Faust was just like, sup? You guys haven't seen me in a while, have you? Ha, cool. I went and talked to the Enchantress, and finally, within the walled city of Nanda Parbat.
Nanda
No, Nanda Parbat. I found this that could change you back, and he holds up the hand of Fatima, whatever that is. I don't know. I'm sure it has some sort of
monkey paw
relevance. Yeah, it's like a human hand, just like, give me 5. It looks like what he's holding up.
Can I give you a hand, Swamp Thing?
But in this case, Matt goes, there's only one problem. I don't know magic, so I'm sure this would help you, but I know nothing of this stuff. And Swamp Thing goes, but I know someone that does. Zatanna! Whoosh! And they jump on over to Zatanna's house and they go, hey, my friend found this here artifact and said it could turn me back into normal. What do you say? Can you do it? And she goes, I can, but you sure that's what you want? And he goes, yep. I lost everything in my life. I want to get at least some sort of normalcy back in there. Do it to it. And she goes, well, it's not reversible after I do it. So once again, are you sure? And he goes, yep. Let's do it. So she casts her little spell, does like a giant seance style ritual thing, and it ends up closing its hand over a course of a page and turns Alec Holland back into normal human Alec Holland, who is then standing there going, oh my god, it's a miracle, I'm back to normal. Thank you so much, Matt Cable. And he turns around to see that Matt Cable is now the Swamp Thing, and he goes, what? And Matt Cable goes, well, what'd you think was going to happen here? And the readers go, well, we knew what was going to happen here.
Well, yeah.
Again, it's the old school style. It's a horror book, less of a, I guess, adventure romp that we've been getting.
Yeah.
We've been getting a lot of body horror and less psychological horror in Swamp Thing, but a lot of it's been an adventure romp or a fantasy adventure style book instead of a old school horror. And this is kind of going back to its roots of old school horror. I love the scene. There's a scene in the morgue where that zombie from the first 2 issues that they poured salt in its mouth and sewed it shut. It's like in the morgue and the guy is just like, should I cut the mouth open? They're like, no, don't cut the mouth. And he's like, well, it's going to be really hard to do an autopsy when it's stuffed with salt and I can't open its mouth. And they're like, don't care, don't open the mouth. And it's all of them trying to argue on whether it's all myths and fairy tales and who wants to be the one to, challenge fate and say, you're all full of crap and cut the strings, and none of them want to do it. It's a nice little sandwich scene in there that I thought fit quite well, but I don't know. Again, if you like the old school stuff, this is aimed for you. 100% up your alley. If you prefer striped bathing suits in space, Brian, do you have anything for that?
Apparently I've got Ravage 2099. There's an ad for it in here. Eco's first mistake was framing Ravage for a crime he didn't commit. Their second was letting him live.
Oh!
Look how big this dude's shoulder pads are.
What year was it? Wow, those are pretty big.
This is 1992.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's, that's in the throes of the 90s era, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, Ravage 2099, 32-page comic with special foil cover.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to date the time period, special foil cover.
I wonder how much Ravage 2099 is going for these days.
Oh, an ad for the Candyman.
Hey, don't mock the Candyman.
I'm not mocking.
I always feel bad for Candyman.
I'm just saying, of the time, there we go. Venom's first limited series. Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. See?
The 90s, everybody.
90s.
Anyway.
So
enough with Marvel UK wrap-up.
Our sideshow that we're going to do is Marvel UK from 1992 that apparently I found in a box in my mom's basement.
All right, so we're just going to continue on?
Yeah, you got some backfill stuff.
I've got
that was everything from this week.
Here's our demarcation. The Marvel UK recap is our line of demarcation. So, these are the things from the long, long ago.
Yes,
From
December.
From December.
Yeah,
stuff from last year. Gotham by Midnight, while we were off for a month, it just sort of, or while we were trying to play catch up.
Yep, while we were still catching up.
Yeah, the last 2 issues of Gotham by Midnight came out over the course of like 2 or 3 weeks. In Gotham by Midnight number 11, last thing we saw back in issue 10 was Jim Corrigan and Detective Drake just Thelma and Louise off a bridge, killing themselves, and the GCPD was very happy to be rid of their silly, fake, spooky division for good.
Yeah.
And at that same moment, an ageless, unknowable monster named Icondrid the Betrayed came out of Slaughter Swamp.
If you have a title like that, it's never good.
Yeah.
Like, anyone that has the whatever after it, unless it's like the Cuddly or something.
Yes.
Like if it's, what's his name, Icondrid the Cuddly. That's not that bad. I mean, that's a little better. So I guess there are exceptions to the rule.
Yes. All right, so every single person who was ever unjustly killed in Gotham, i.e. a lot, flood the streets, and we've got a zombie problem. Old Testament, real Wrath of God type stuff. So we see everyone in Gotham trying to handle it. Weaver, Rook, Kate Spencer, Jim Bat shows up and shoots hundreds of tiny missiles at the zombies and gets super mad at Maggie Sawyer for letting her people mess with Precinct 13. Like, you were supposed to leave them alone. This is what they were here for, and you killed the 2 of them with superpowers? Oh, my gosh.
Way to go.
Way to go. I become Batman for 2 minutes. But luckily, as soon as Maggie says, well, being dead never really stopped Jim Corrigan before, right? The Spectre shows up with Jim and Drake. It's like, oh, hey, thanks for summoning them with your shortened with your suddenly canceled storytelling schedule there, guys.
what they do to the whole like Aquaman, where someone has to stand there and be like, oh no, who will save us? Don't worry, he'll be here in a second after I say that. We're about to die. Who could possibly save us? And that's when Aquaman swims to the reef. I will.
Yep.
They just know. Everyone knows, and they're like, fine. Gotta make your dramatic entrance.
Yep. So Spectre grows huge to fight Icondrid, but because everyone who has been unjustly killed is joining his army, the Spectre starts speaking in tongues and starts fighting on the bad guy's side.
Whoops.
Well, he's super huge. Uh-oh. But Xander Tars had glowy eyes all issue and summons a giant Sister Justine ghost to stop the Spectre in heaven's name.
Wow, I guess we get our Power Rangers fill this week.
Yeah, we do.
I wasn't expecting a giant nun, though, I gotta say.
Yeah, what are you gonna do now, Rita Repulsa? I don't know, maybe like a giant nun? Grow!
And she just stands there, blinking while Midnight
like
escapes
a food processor or something? I don't know, grow!
I got some lamps. Yes, grow!
Sorry, everyone who has fond memories of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I remember the kid in our carpool showing up and turning that on at my house every morning and just going, why? How do you not? Those kids are all wearing the same colors as the Power Rangers. How do you not know?
It's the same 5 kids not in class every time a monster attacks. Come on.
It's just one. It's one thing. Oh, Peter Parker's bad at class or whatever. When it's 5 of them... Issue 12 of Gotham by Midnight. I'm working out a lot of childhood frustrations today.
Jeez.
So, Sister Justine is back as a giant Spectre-type entity, now known as the Redeemer, and she's tied to Tar.
So wait, he's like a quasi-Spectre?
Quasi-Spectre, yes.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so...
But with a nun?
Yeah. His
Weird.
His nun pal.
His nun pal.
Icondrid is back because the deal they made last time it showed up in issue 6, because they failed to deliver justice, and that everyone in Gotham is unsatisfied because they can't right all the wrongs or they're disappointed in themselves. They made a very vague promise to Icondrid, and he's like, hey, you roar!
Try your best, guys. That's really all I could ask for.
And you didn't really try your best, so now, guess what? I'm going to stomp everything.
I was just told to grow, so sorry.
Yes. So, but then Drake points out, it's like, wait a minute. If you're talking about, like, people don't have justice because they, like, are disappointed with their lives, that applies to, like, everyone. So this is kind of like a bum deal we made. So with the help of the Redeemer, Corrigan subconsciously wills everyone in Gotham to be forgiven.
Man.
So they literally move the spirits of the unjustly undead into everyone's hearts so they can be remembered in their dreams, and the ghosts will help them deal with their individual suffering. So just for one night, everyone in Gotham felt kind of okay.
Because they were being possessed by ghosts? Spookums?
I guess so, yeah.
Man, why can't everyone just have a good day in Gotham? Just one day. Why does it take an act of God literally and
Maybe.
spookums?
Maybe.
Of a mustache dog at the very least.
Yeah, so Spectre goes back so Ichondrid goes away, Spectre goes back into Corrigan, the Redeemer goes back into Tar, Drake doesn't scream and murder anyone.
And everyone jumps in the air and freeze frames?
Yeah, Midnight Shift just enjoys a nice Gotham sunrise.
Yeah!
Not the most completely perfect wrap-up final issue. There was obviously a lot of plot points had to be kind of pushed along very quickly. But it was super nice, and I hope we get to see them again someday.
I do too. I really do.
I love those guys.
I think it's a great tie-in as far as the fact that it was because Commissioner Gordon and Batman were the two people really pushing for Precinct 13 or Department 13 or whatever they were to exist in the first place.
They had like 18 different names. But.
Yeah, and to just kind of hide them in the paper trail and everything like that, that as soon as Batman falls off the face of the earth and Commissioner Gordon gets pulled away to do something else, everyone's like, hey, what's up with these weirdos over here? It's just like one of those subtlety things that when the person that's there that's been shielding them isn't there anymore, all of a sudden everyone's like, no, that's kind of weird. That's not right over there at all. I like that aspect, but at the same time, I think that's part of the story reason of the downfall of them, and it makes me sad. Sad panda. Sad panda. But it's good. Really, really good.
Yep.
Stylistic. Super stylistic. The Temple Smith issues at the first half
Getting
of it.
The Ferreira stuff at the end really picked up despite the sudden, not necessarily that jarring, but it was just like, oh, wait, suddenly everything's all beautifully rendered and not like sketchy and crazy.
You're hyper realistic.
Why does this bridge look so nice, Mr. Ferreira?
What's up with this background looking great?
Yeah.
So I think you had one more that you wanted to wrap up.
Okay, just me. All-Star Section 8.
Yes.
Number 8. Number 6.
Was it an alcoholic dream?
Well, yes. As we last left Section 8, Six Packs had discovered that it might all be a dream, and he's just a drunk bum in an alley. Superman, of all people, has come to talk some sense into him. And if there's one superhero Garth Ennis is going to handle with a little bit of respect, it's Superman.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I will point people to the Justice League of America, the JLA Hitman special. I'm sure it's woefully out of print, but I'm sure you can find the Superman Hitman rooftop conversation via Google Images. Since a lot of people will point to it as one of the best Superman defining things out there.
Gotcha.
It's like, oh, contract killer and Superman having a nice conversation on a rooftop somewhere, and it's beautiful and perfect.
Okay, so it's civil. It's not the underhanded humor.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Anyway, Superman takes him on a charmingly silly tour of the Fortress of Solitude. It's like, over here's a fragment of rainbow unbelievium. And this here is a unanimous podge. And here's Humpo the Squareroon. Hey, Humpo, how's it going? Bunga, 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 bunga. It's like the weirdest thing it's like, oh, this is weird superheroes. So he tries to cheer up Six Pack and lets him know that even if they are just a dream, he's doing a pretty good job dreaming all of us up. And he shows him a statue of Six Pack in a park and hands him a bottle of Jack Daniels. You're not just a drunk in an alley, honest. Here, I'm Superman doing all this stuff. But Six Pack starts to have some doubts about himself and just how pointless superheroism is. And back at Noonan's, the Grappler hangs himself. Dog Welder's family shows up and he welds the family dog to something. Which you actually called.
Oh,
no. Power Tool gets electrocuted. Vader just okay, that's it. I'm out. I'm done with this. Guts and Bueno are still on their honeymoon in the bathroom. But even alone, Six Pack gets all liquored up and goes out to save the world. And we see in the final splash that he is a drunk passed out in an alley. But for somehow, he's managed to be wrapped up in Superman's cape.
Aww.
Yeah.
Aww.
So sad. But hey, Superman's pretty cool, isn't he?
Hey, guys. Superman.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that was how it was ending. I wouldn't have put this one last. I don't want to go on a downer like that. For all the slapstick humor that we had in there, that was not the ending I was expecting. Yeah. I mean, you could pan out and just have it be the Birdman style ooh, how did it end? Did he fly away? Did he fall to the ground and die? Is it all, symbolism and stuff? But no. What was that?
Nothing.
You were like mouthing something.
Spoilers. I know it's been like a year or two since it came out, so it's my own fault. But
technically, I'm not spoiling it because no one knows how it ends.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Even
nobody knows.
It's been sitting at like number 5 in my Netflix queue for the longest time. I keep putting more things in front of it.
Oh shoot! I spilled you.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
My bad.
Whoops.
That's okay.
Oh well.
It's literally a no one knows how it ends.
Okay,
so,
gotcha.
Yeah, me telling you that doesn't tell you anything.
Gotcha. Good to know. Good to know.
So anyhow, that's all of our books from this week and 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Way to go us. Go team.
Yeah.
I still have Robin War to cover, but I have a plan on how I'm covering it because next 2 weeks from now we have issues that will pick up right from where it ends, and I figure I can backfill from there. It'll make it a lot more easier.
All those big Batman and Robin Eternal chunks.
Yeah, pretty much. Just a 15 minutes of Robins everywhere.
Robins and Talons, I believe, right?
And Talons.
So then Robin got Talon, and Talon hit Robin, but then Talon said, "Hey, Talon, stop hitting that Robin. Robin's going to have some words for you."
Well, I guess I don't need to cover it. You already got it. But as a reminder, you guys go out there and buy these books, buy the stuff you like, buy the stuff you enjoy, pick it up in trade, pick it up in singles. As I've said before, it matters. It's metrics. Warner Brothers is a big company. DC is a large company. What you buy matters. Even if it doesn't seem like it keeps a book around, it at least sends a vote on what works and what does not. So buy what you like. That's all I can ask for. Next week we will have more books, I believe. Is next week another week in the year?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, then yes, we will have more books next week. And why don't you tell the lovely folks how they can contact us if they want to yell at us for something?
Via the internet.
If all of the people from 1990s Great Britain want to say, "Oi, we love Death's Head too." That's what they say, right?
I suppose they should.
Is that what they always say?
I guess, yeah.
I think every time I've been over there, that's all they ever say is, "Oi, I love Death's Head too." And I'm like, "You mean as well?" And they go, "No, 2, Death's Head 2."
So confusing.
Why are you holding up 2 fingers like that? Are you telling me the number 2? No, that's not what I'm telling you. Yes. So, yes, you can find us on the internet. We're DCR Podcast everywhere. So feel free to contact us there. Without anything from me, Brian, do you have anything before we jet for the day?
Zootopia.
Oh, yeah, that came out this week. Heard it was a bit surprising.
Big surprise. I have seen it twice already.
Twice?
It is Sunday. I've seen it twice already.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not that bad.
It's a highest recommendation.
Yeah.
If you don't know much about it, just go see it and be surprised and
So I
entertained.
shouldn't say anything then.
Don't say anything.
What about Birdman? Can I say anything about Birdman?
Harvey Birdman.
Okay. Harvey Birdman! I said it. Is that what you meant?
Maybe.
No?
No, not at all.
Liam is wailing in the night.
I know.
Like a
Sorry,
banshee.
everybody. Yeah.
Like a banshee.
So we're cutting this short.
Yeah, a little bit. So, I got nothing else. So enjoy your books, enjoy your week, enjoy your lives, and we will talk to you next week.